Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another round of roster reviews. It's been a little bit since I did them. I always think that it hasn't been so long, and then it ends up being longer than I thought. First I'm looking at is Lion Pride 97 with just over 8 million GP. When they submitted their account for review, they were 7.6 million GP. So yeah, it takes a while to get to these accounts, and I'm still pretty early. I'm still looking at accounts that volunteer to get a roster review within like the first hour of my post, if that just gives you any idea. They said that they started in winter of 2017, but took 6 months off, and their spending habits are $10 a week plus the Conquest Pass. Kyber 2 right now with 8 million. There are some 8 millions in Kyber 1, but not too many, so that's about what you can expect. And it looks like they got 4 Galactic Legends missing Lord Vader, Supreme Leader Kylo, and Rey. It's not too surprising to be missing Rey or Lord Vader. Supreme Leader Kylo, you're usually going for earlier. If they started in late 2017, they started a few years before Galactic Legends, so probably had a lot built up that could go towards JML, Sith Eternal, and JMK, so that's not too surprising. And Resistance and First Order were not super desirable before Galactic Legends, so it makes sense. We got Starkiller, Malgus, got Grand Inquisitor here. Not seeing a Riva. Relic 8 Boosh, definitely going all in for the Jabba team based on that. Chrysanthemum R8, but was gotta be R8 pretty much. And then for ships, they have Profundity and Executor, so got all the good stuff there. Datacrons, not too much invested into Datacrons. I don't know if they're just anti-Datacrons, don't feel like it or what, but they definitely have a roster that could handle a lot of Datacrons. Let me just, since this is an endgame account, I'm going to look at a couple endgame type things, starting with Inquisitors. So it looks like they are Riva ready to do the mission, but don't have her unlocked. I understand it's going to be probably 4 months or so, or maybe just under until I get that. What else do we want to look at? Bad Batch. They don't have Lord Vader. Okay, working on Bad Batch to a degree. Got them all 7 stars, so maybe Lord Vader is next in the cards. It's kind of interesting with those 4 Galactic Legends. I can't blame you for not having any of the others yet. Looks like First Order is not a priority right now. Resistance, this doesn't tell me anything there. Might not be going for Rey either. What else can we look at for Lord Vader indicators? I don't know, yeah, I'm not sure what they're going for, but if I had to recommend something, I'd probably recommend Rey, honestly. Because the Resistance faction, it's getting a boost from Zori, and looks like they're farming Zori already. So I think it's really worthwhile to farm that, given having all 4 of those other Galactic Legends and Profundity and Executor. And the next big thing should be Resistance. Galactic Legend Rey is just no slouch in PvP. There's tons of great theory crafting you can do with her. She's probably one of, if not the most flexible Galactic Legend, because it's all about just light side characters. Any light side, she's going to protect them. They're going to channel into her whirlwinds and her ultimate and everything else. Or they're going to get mastery from her. So I really do think Rey should be the next stop for this player. And let's just do a double check on some classic factions that are usually filled out by now. Sith, yeah, looking pretty filled out, except Sith Empire Trooper. I mean, he's good. But, I'm not going to be scolding anyone for not having him. Sith Trooper, good even without going for Supreme Leader Kylo, so definitely someone to pick up there. I mean, he's got him at 7 stars already, so that's not an issue. If you don't have First Star, okay. They just got combined on the same node, First Order Stormtrooper and Sith Trooper, so it makes it easier. So I was just checking to see if that might be an obstacle. Jedi looking pretty built up. Kakatarna Relic 8. Maybe it's for platoons, or maybe just TV in general. Jedi faction looking good. Mandalorians looking good. Yeah, most stuff's looking good, so I'm gonna look at mods now. Sort by speed. Speed. I mean, speed is not everything, but it is a lot of the times very important. 185 speed on JMK as fast as Galactic Legend, not too bad. How is Sith Eternal Emperor modded? Very standard. Pure health and not much thought given to speed. This is not much speed at all. I prefer to have somewhat of a speed focus just to get him over 500 or so. So not like really neglecting speed, because when I ran full health and not enough speed, I don't know. I had some issues, but if it's working for him, so be it. That's fine. Fastest non-galactic legend is Moff Gideon. Very fast, just very good. Checking priorities now, just a quick glance. Moff Gideon, Marjay Dash. These are all very high priority speed characters. So nothing off so far as modding that I'm seeing. Armor, I don't put a ton of focus on my armor speed, but if you are going to make use of armor in a sport role like Watambor, you do want to load up that speed, so that makes sense there. Everything's pretty much looking good as far as the mods, so I'm just going to have to give an A to that effort. Let me just check Luke. Okay, yeah, I mean, this is pretty good. Yeah, wow. I think that is a lot of protection. Yeah, 3,000 extra there. 2,000 extra there. Almost 2,000 there. Yeah, I think this is very good protection, honestly. And then this, how much percent? 11.27%. Okay, yeah, 12% protection. Fantastically modded Luke. That's probably one of the best I've seen, honestly. Pretty fast too. What speed was here? 27 speed. Okay, well, bravo. Hats off to you. That is just an incredible Luke. Yeah, great job with the mods. Ryan, I think that's all I have to say about Lion Pride. Great job. You know, for 8 million is a pretty great landing place in Kyber 2. With 4 GLs, about as good as you're gonna get. Especially with Kyber 1 being what it is with so few people. One of the best JediMaster Luke moddings I've ever seen. And get right next. Do yourself a favor, you won't regret it. Next up, we got Boone. And Boone is an Erodium 5, 3.7 million GP. When they applied for this, they're 3.6 million. So not as much progress as our previous account we looked over. Started in June 2020, so coming up on 3 years in the game. And they said that their focus is, they're free to play, and they said their focus is everything but territory war. So I don't know how your guild feels about that, the Knights Radiance. Which, by the way, I'm not sure, but seems like a play on the Knights Radiant from the Stormlight Archive, written by Brandon Sanderson. One of my favorite book series, probably my favorite book series I've ever read. Great stuff, so check that out, Stormlight Archive. And this is an interesting account. I think what we have here is a case of a hardcore prequel fanboy. And, you know, I love the prequels too. I just finished watching Revenge of the Sith with my wife, and I still love it. They're still my favorite set of movies in Star Wars, but everything seems to be centered around that era. We got JMK, General Skywalker, General Grievous, Shaak Ti. I'm seeing all Galactic Republic separatists. I mean, there's Commander Luke, so he got something there. And Jedi Knight Revan is there, but just so much separatists and Galactic Republic and that era of Jedi. Savage is from that era, B1. Wampa is, you know, independent. That's probably just a game decision. Even the bounty hunters, Cad Bane is prequel era. Magna Guard, Qui-Gon, Archer, Chewbacca. There's an exception. Bo-Katan is prequel era. I am almost 100% sure that is what's going on here. Lando, an outlier, interesting. But it doesn't seem like this account is focused on progressing for the sake of the game itself. It seems like it's just based around the prequels, as I have kept saying. But yeah, all the and Darth Vader technically is still prequels too. All the developed ships are from that era too. I mean, obviously the only characters we're gonna see. But yeah, look at this: Executrix, Home, One Chimera, all non-prequels, all no development at all. Negotiator, Endurance, Malevolence, getting all the attention. But I mean, you know, that's fine. I am going to proceed with the sense that you're not trying to focus on just being competitive in the game, but just farming the characters you like, which is fine. So I'm not going to give the standard review. I might look at some mods and stuff. But if you're looking at prequel era stuff, let's see, the Galactic Republic. If there's anything else. Bad Batch, I think, would be a great team to build up, even if you're not going for Lord Vader. But you probably should go for Lord Vader at some point, if that's what you are all about. And then check Separatists. Let's see. I mean, Trench is probably very far off. What is it, Gus? Trench is very far off. Separatists, you know, not too much to dive into there. Sith. You probably want to get Lord Vader next, or Sith Eternal Emperor. You know, technically he's the sequel character, but you could choose to look at it as a prequel version. But yeah, look, Rebels doesn't care for the Rebel scum. And Empire, which is very early game friendly, nothing. Just no regard paid to them. I mean, we got some Zetas, some Piet Beers, so they're doing a little bit of punching up. All the relic attention is not branched out very much at all. Alright, I got Gus for a quick appearance. I hope he sticks around just a little bit. I'm going to look at the mods now, just check out what he's working with. At least that is a good set. That's a great speed set for JMK. Obviously, your best character, and best character in the game. He's smelling my microphone. Padme's second fastest, which is kind of interesting. 321, but I guess if that's one of your best leaders if you're running just pure Galactic Republic. Yoda has been pointing out to me he can make use of a lot of speed and survivability if you're going against JMK with JML, but there's no JML here. He's so cute, isn't he? Let's see how fast Rex is. I'll let you go in a second, bud. 299, so kind of fast, but not a super deep mod pool here. No. Giant Revan, pretty slow, so the mods don't go so far. I'm not going to shame too much because I can see what's going on here. Just play the game you like to play, and I mean, keep in mind some other teams are going to help you out along the way. Imperial Troopers, or like a Palpatine team with Mara Jade, are great to get the stuff done, even with just a little bit more investment. A CLS team with more development, maybe Relic of Han Solo. But otherwise, just keep doing what you're doing, and if you want to play it like that, that is up to you, and have fun with it. Next up, we got a very early game account, JediMasterCallum, started in April 2022, so just about a year on the account, depending on what date they started. 2 million GP. When they volunteered to get reviewed, they were 1.5, so in those few months, they've gotten 500,000 GP, which is great progress. We can just compare that to a couple of the other players we've looked at, that what they've gained since signing up. It was only 100,000 for the last guy, so this is great progress. They are a hyperdrive only spender, but they focus on Grand Arena. That's the aim. Kind of an interesting fleet here, but early on, I mean, I guess you make whatever works. I don't know about Phantom in the starting lineup. Just if you want to run this fleet, run it as a reinforcement, because that refreshes your reinforcement ability. Carbonite 3. So I don't know what the field looks like in Carbonite and Bronzium. I don't know if that's good or not, or typical, but I have heard stories of super large accounts falling to Carbonite, so who knows. Datacrons shouldn't have any, right? Let me look at ships just first of all, and what capital ships they have. Okay, they have the standards plus Chimera. And I mean, it looks like they have a pretty good focus with a few exceptions. So Vader, Bosk, CLS, and kind of Chewbacca are very good options for early relics, so one of your first relics. In fact, in the series where I talk about teams that work with one or no relics, these are all candidates for the first relic on their team. Chewbacca is fine too in the long run, it's not a waste. Ezra Bridger, not really a good use. It can get tempting if you start with Phoenix to fall, and you don't know the game well, to fall in love with Ezra because he's your main damage dealer. But he is not long-term super viable. Just missing some mods there. Just because he's really squishy. I mean, look at his health and protection. I mean, missing some mods, but okay. I'll probably have a lot more to say about the mods in a second when I look at it. Savage, Omicron, that's good. Ezra, not great development. Cad Bane, not a early option. Shouldn't be an early option for Gear 12. It should only be built up for unlocking Executor, which you're not super close to. Yoda's good. Thrawn is fine. Mandalorian's fine. It looks like they do have an interest in bounty hunters. Let me check the overall Phoenix squad, see what they got them to. Okay, so I would say this is a little overdeveloped for Phoenix. I'd recommend stopping at Gear 8. And overall, the main team, these 5, are at least Gear 9 here, with 10 on Kanan and Hera, so probably a little overgearing on Phoenix, even though I do like them. Early game, they are used for a couple purposes and then cast aside. Empire needs a little bit more development too. Put some Zetas, give one to Piet. I don't know how many Zetas you've had the chance to accrue, but that's a great option. Veers is a decent option as well. And Dark Trooper, you put that team together, it works at low gear very well, so you can get that quickly. If you haven't used my farming guide already or another farming guide, I would just recommend checking those out. And you're early enough in the game where you can kind of rely on that for direction. Giant Revan's unlocked, so that is good. So you kind of got the whole first page done. So what would be next would be Beskar, Mando, and Darth Revan. So let me see here. Yeah, we don't have Bam yet. I'd probably go for Darth Revan first. And then go for the carrot. You already got Mando. You just need Grief Karga. Grief Karga, definitely farm him because he's going to balance out a bounty hunter team so well. Going to make it so much better. And you already have a lot of those building blocks there. Sith Empire, well, a 7-star HK, so that's one of those parts. Rest of the Old Republic. Yeah, I'd recommend going for Darth Revan next. After that, Beskar Mando. After him, Malik, and then maybe Starkiller, and then go to Executor probably. And you have some progress towards the Executor already with like Cad Bane built up. That's a little bit of a pre-build up towards it. Let's check the bounty hunter ships. Yeah, so good progress towards it. Might as well make use out of what you have. If you are going straight for Executor, I think you jumped the gun on who to gear first. Cad Bane is not a focus there. But yeah, that is what I'd recommend for now. And now let me dive into the mods a bit. Okay, so CLS is fastest, you know, not the worst thing in the world. 75. After a year, you probably could have much better speed mods or speed secondaries. 83. Yeah, so it doesn't look like you have any kind of mod depth at all at this point. By a year into the game, I think I had several 120, 130, 140, 100, a couple 120 plus 130 speed sets. So that's probably something to focus on too right now, you know, filling the gaps. Look at my farming guide for like what I normally recommend, because you're that early that you could rely on that to a degree. Newt, well, he's just naturally fast. Piet is a good speed character. I mean, fill the mods in. Like, don't leave any spots unfilled. And did say your focus is Grand Arena. You got a lot of work in a lot of places. So I'd kind of go back to the drawing board. Don't skip on mod refreshes. I know you don't have many. You don't get many crystals to begin with, but do yourself a favor. Don't skip out on that. Looks like you're 26. If you put some work into it, your fleet, you could climb up and get more of those crystals. For you, maybe an Empire fleet, or building that up would make sense. Maybe Imperial TIE Fighter, get the TIE Bomber, then try to build up Iden Versio and get her ship too. Iden is an accelerated character, and her ship is now farmable, and those never get accelerated, so no time like the present, and you can beat tons of stuff with those. A long way off from Proving Grounds and the TIE Interceptor, that would help make it a lot better. But Chimera with those 3 TIE Fighters, or TIE Advance, Imperial TIE Fighter, TIE Bomber, and then Iden's ship can make a lot of stuff work, and you have the Emperor Shuttle unlocked too. That's not a great ship to throw into the mix. So that's definitely my recommendation, and you can beat Negotiator, Malevolence. I don't know if, yeah, I don't think you probably could beat Executor without TIE Interceptor, but a lot of good fleets before you unlock your own Malevolence and Negotiator. That's my take for now. Good luck in the future. And since I didn't take too much time on the first 3, we do have time for a 4th. There was someone else I wanted to look at that signed up, but it looks like they haven't logged in for 50 days. So I'm a little slow to get into people. But instead we have Mini Toa Din with 5.8 million GP. Started in January 2021, so just over 2 years. And over 5.8 million, that's quite impressive. And they say they're free to play. That's a lot of progress, I think, for free to play. But the whole story is not just GP. So let's say, okay, they're 5.8 million, still only 2 Galactic Legends, and in 2 years, that's completely feasible. What's the ship GP actually? Let me check that, because there could be a lot of bloat. Close to half is ships. You can bloat fairly easily. Looks like there's some blows, some gear 8s, but I don't know. I don't know. Maybe there's some spending back there behind the veil, but maybe not. But a lot of progress, I will just say that. Sith Eternal Emperor and JMK, the only 2 Galactic Legends. I'm not sure any of the others are close really at all. We got some Empire near the top. Revenant Malak, great. Maul unlocked. Malgus, fantastic. So we got a lot of the Conquest characters. If you're watching enough to tell me how you unlock these, if a lot of it was through Proving Grounds or not, because I would think you definitely weren't eligible or weren't far along enough to unlock these, like Cat and Maul first time around in Conquest. Maybe Malgus, you'd be over the 4 million, but I don't know. Either way, pretty good job on those characters, honestly. Starkiller is unlocked. Let me just start poking around at some factions. So let me look at Rebel. Pretty good Rebel faction, very far along. You might want to go for JML next. It looks like you have a lot of that already. Mon Mothma. And that's a big part of the unlock. Kakatarn already. Ki-Adi-Mundi. So 4 stars in Ki-Adi-Mundi. That means you're in a guild doing GOTB, which I would expect. I haven't been doing it long enough or have enough people contributing to get a full 7-star Ki-Adi-Mundi yet, which would make me think you don't have Inquisitors very far along. And no. That might be a good idea to just work on these guys instead of Galactic Legends, actually. Get them to R7, you can get a much better guild. Unless you're in a guild you really like and you want to stick with them, getting all these guys to R7, It's a tall order, but it might give you some leverage to get into a better guild and grow much faster. Check some other key factions. Sith, very developed, except the 2 main members of the trio. Or is Scion completely omitted? Yeah, so I don't see Scion unless my eyes deceive me. So definitely work on Scion, especially if you have Treya with Omicron. So do yourself a favor and round out the triple threat. Talon is a great shoe in there, unless you're running her with Sith Eternal Emperor. But I would recommend Talon with Treya. And for the Sith Empire team, just use Marauder as the 5th. So Malgus, Riven, Bastila Malik, and Marauder, and then Talon goes well with Treya, Nihilus, Scion, Savage, which you already have, if he's not a solo threat for you, and then Talon. What else am I trying to check out here? Mandalorian team, pretty built up. No criticism there. Already looked at Jedi and Empire. Pretty good. I didn't develop 2. Galactic Republic. It's a pretty well rounded out roster. I'd say hunting for Galactic Legends is definitely a good idea. It looks like you already have the 2 meta ships unlocked. Profundity at 4-star and Executor at 5-star. Since you unlocked both of them but have neither at 7 stars, I'm going to have to assume it's been a while since you unlocked Profundity and you just don't want to spend the crystals. I mean, what are you in Kyber right now? Kyber 3, was it? Yeah, Kyber 3. So, I mean, you're getting a buy pretty good like that. If you don't want to use the crystals there and you're okay limping along, I guess that's fine. But I do think it's worth it to take them to 7 stars, even though I hate spending all the crystals. And if I had to pick one of these 2 to take to 7 stars, it'd be Executor. Because the difference between a 4-star or 5-star Executor and 7-star is much bigger than the gap between a 4-star Profundity and a 7-star. I lose in Fleet Arena to lower star Profundities all the time just because of all the RNG elements into it. They get dodges, I don't. They get resists, I don't. And then their Rebel Y-Wing survives longer. So 4-star Profundity can do pretty good. You're just going to lose a few banners on offense in Grand Arena. Datacrons. That's a decent amount of Datacrons for what you have. It's probably about as many as you can use. Yeah, probably can't get more than that. So definitely round out the Sith and then hunt some Galactic Legends. And now time to look at mods. All right, we got filtered by speed. Galactic Legends are obviously going to be fastest. And among the non-Galactic Legends, I don't see any glaring oversights in the priority. I also give a lot of speed to my Radis. It seems to work pretty well. You went heavy on the protection. Mine's kind of balanced between health and protection. I made him even a lot more faster, but I have an older account, so that's to be expected. Marjade, you got the Omicron, so you're being nice to your guild. That's an amazing one to apply if you're going with Territory War Omicrons. Great speed on her. Great for that Starkiller team. Just wondering, do you have the Juhani Omicron too? Because that is... Okay, yeah, so yeah. Definitely doing your guild a favor there with those Omicrons. Very favorable. Armorer, pretty fast. Faster than I run her. But if you're using her like a Watt, then it makes sense, because she can't get the bonus turn. And going down the line, check AR, Relic 3. I don't know. I think Relic 3s are probably fine for your account's life cycle. I don't know if I'd chase R5ing stuff just for Datacrons until you have a more fleshed out, wide variety of top-end characters. But your speeds look good as far as priority. I'd recommend going for JML next or Inquisitors, one of those two. Because JML, it looks like that's your closest Galactic Legend. Inquisitors will help you get into a better guild. And definitely get Scion, round out that Sith trio, and that's a killer team in Grand Arena. Anyway, pretty good job, and thanks for letting me review your account. That's it for this one, guys. I hope you enjoyed the roster reviews. A couple of interesting ones. One of the best Jedi Master Luke Skywalkers I've ever seen as far as protection goes. In great speed, too. I'm very much impressed by that. We saw an interesting account that's seems to be a prequel fanboy and not a competitive gamer type with this game. And that's okay, honestly. Saw some newer accounts, so a pretty good mixed bag. I hope it was a good balance for you as well. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'd love to hear what you think about it, and don't forget to subscribe.